Dear colleagues, every year, BERA recognises excellence by awarding our annual fellowships and awards to BERA members who exemplify the very best in educational research. Today, we are celebrating those who have received these awards. Mari Beaton, you're going to take over from us now. Thank you very much.
So there's going to be a few of us come up, but I'm starting off with the BERA Conference Awards. This year was a very special year as we joined with WERA to host the 2024 BERA Annual Conference and WERA Focal Symposium. Thank you, Sarah. Each year at conference we have a number of awards. Now, not everybody could be here, but we wanted to read out their names. So first of all, we really enjoy celebrating and promoting the work of our early career researchers. And we present 3 prizes to the best early career researcher presentation at conference. And this year, the winners were, I will do it in reverse order. The 3rd prize winner was Sarah Black. The 2nd prize winner was Joanna Humes. And the 1st prize winner was Sophie Liggins. Now, unfortunately, 2 of our colleagues couldn't be here, but I believe that Joanna is here. Yes. So if you'd like to come out to the front. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you. There we go. Thank you. And all posters presented at the BERA Annual Conference are automatically entered into the Poster Prize Presentation Award. All posters were judged by a member of the BERA committees. This year, the best physical poster was awarded to Salma Al-Yama, and the best e-poster was awarded to Rose Doherty. Unfortunately, neither of those winners could be present today, but I think it's important to acknowledge their achievement. And finally, the SIG conveners, as part of their role at conference, shortlist, then attend sessions for their SIG and judge these presentations to award the SIG Best Presentation Award. Now, as you can imagine, there's a long list of winners. They're all available on the website. However, some of the winners are here today. I'm hoping some of the winners are here today. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out all of the winners, the SIG they came from, and then I'd ask them to all come up at the same time at the end, and Marie has their certificates for them. So for educational effectiveness and improvement, beyond Ofsted, perspectives on inspection were Katie Gillian, Alice Bradbury, Jane Perryman, Graham Calvert. Then educational research and educational policy making SIG. The title of the presentation was The Intersection Between Research and Policy, Discussing the Perspectives, Experiences and Understandings of Academic Researchers in Ofsted. Presenters were Alex Jones, Gemma Moss, Craig Skerritt, Joseph Mintz, Charlotte Vidal-Hall, Verena Brailer. Educational Leadership SIG, The Tyranny of Wellbeing Initiatives in Primary Schools in England, Samantha Sullivan. The English in Education SIG, The Same Ones All the Time, Young People's Perceptions of Diversity and Reading in KS4 in England, presented by Beth Kemp. The Social Justice SIG, Does It Matter Who We Cite in Social Justice Research? Elizabeth Walton. And STEAM Educational Research, The Locomotion of Delivering a STEAM-Based Approach into the Primary Curriculum is ITE the Driving Force. Avril Rowley and Victoria Brennan. Could I ask any winners to come up to the front, and let's give them a big round of applause.
BERA is committed to championing the next generation of researchers, and in particular those undertaking their studies. We offer 3 awards recognising academic excellence and rigour in research: our undergraduate award, Master's Dissertation Award, and a Doctoral Thesis Award. 2024 BERA Undergraduate Award. I'd first like to congratulate the 2024 winner of the BERA Undergraduate Award, Emily Quinton, University of Bristol, for her undergraduate thesis, How Has No One Told Me This Before? Queer Experiences of Sex Education and its Associated Psychological Impacts. Let's applaud her, please. (2024) BERA Master's Dissertation. Second, BERA would like to congratulate the 2024 Master's Dissertation winner, Kate Fox, for her dissertation, Building Bridges or Barriers, a study of home, community and school literary practices in rural Tanzania. Is Kate here today? Yes, she is. Perfect. Well done. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate the 2024 doctoral thesis winner, Emily MacLeod, for her thesis, The Status and Safety of Teaching, a longitudinal study of why some young people in England become teachers and why others do not. She's not in attendance, but let's clap her.
Okay, so it's my turn. We haven't got the jazzy music this year, which is a great disappointment to me that we had last year. We had drum rolls. Okay, so it's the second year of the BERA Educational Research Book of the Year Award. So it's my great pleasure to introduce this award. It's given to a scholarly book on education deemed to be high quality, engaging and innovative. And I know from the very strong list that we received from the publishers that we had some really great books published in the last year. So we carefully considered them. We curated a short list that we feel exemplifies scholarly excellence, innovation, and impact. And all of those aspects are very important to us. So these exceptional books delve into an array of educational topics, shedding light on critical issues and offering fresh perspectives on the future of education. So we had 2 finalists that made our shortlist, the first of which, they're up there, great, I won't need to read them out then. And we were really impressed with both of these books. Unfortunately, they can only, so please buy them both and read them, but we can only have one winner, and drum roll again. So the winning entry for the 2024 Book of the Year is Elite Universities and the Making of Privilege, Exploring Race and Class in Global Educational Economies by Kalmont Bhopal and Martin Myers. I understand they're not in attendance, but let's please give them a big round of applause.
Brilliant. So, 2024 BERA Equality in Education Award. BERA is committed to bringing our resources and expertise to bear on wider issues of inequality in education and society. The BERA Equality in Education Award honours an individual whose work has actively addressed inequality and discrimination in education. The recipient's contributions will demonstrate significant advancements in promoting diversity, equity and inclusion at local, national and international levels. Furthermore, there must be clear evidence that their efforts have led to sustainable structural changes within systems and practices that reinforce inequality and discrimination. BERA is honoured that the 2024 BERA Equality in Education Award recipient is Chantel Horton. Now, Chantel is not here today, but she has asked her colleagues, Jeremiah Olasula and Leon Andrews, to collect the award for her on her behalf. You are, guys.
So I've written a few things down, just because Shan's not here, and if she was here, you'd all know about it. She's absolutely devastated she can't be here today. She's really poorly at home. She's been looking forward to this for ages and ages. So she's told me I have to tell you a few things, so I'll be as quick as I can. First one is, she told me to invite you all to the Welsh version of the presidential seminar series, which is happening in the Senedd in Wales on May the 1st. And she said she'll make it up to you all by giving you a proper Tiger Bay welcome. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you there. But I just wanted to tell you a bit about Shan, really, and why I think she's very worthy of this award. Her work ethic is unparalleled. I've never known anyone work so much on their days off, whether that be in the house or whether she's in Jamaica. She's still working and continuing to work. She's relentless in all her quests to achieve lasting change in education, whether that be working with the policymakers in Welsh Government, through her research or through her community activism. But the thing with Chantel is that what she wants to achieve isn't for self-gratification or putting herself in the spotlight, but it's for the benefit of others and like the generations of children that are coming through the education system and for the communities that we live and work in. Her ability to drive real change and policy with the policymakers, which can be transferred into practice, is what makes Chantel so special and unique. People in positions of power love a policy and a report, but how many of those policies and reports and studies actually make real significant change on the front line? How many of the policymakers see their ideas through to the grassroots organisations, provide support at every stage to ensure everyone understands how to implement those changes. Probably not many. DARPL, Diversity and Anti-Racist Professional Learning, which is Chantel's brainchild, was born out of the recommendations from Professor Charlotte Williams' report back in 2021, where all 51 recommendations were upheld by the Welsh Government. The mandatory teaching of Black, Asian and minority ethnic histories was to be taught in all Welsh schools. And whilst this was a major triumph for many, Shan saw a huge gap. And how would the 98.7% of white Welsh teachers or white teachers in Wales know how to deliver that education? And that's how DARPL was born. Fast forward 3 years, and at least 3,005 AM emails later, because that's when Shan's in full flow, as our team will tell you. Big up the A-team. And DARPL is now the Anti-Racist Professional Learning Offer for the Welsh Government. And we deliver anti-racist professional learning across the whole of Wales to anyone in education, from childcare play in early years right through the school system. And this tiny seed has now grown, and children from the global majority in Wales can now go into their school libraries and read books with a protagonist that looks like them. They can see themselves reflected in the curriculum that they're taught, and they can feel confident about reporting racism because they know that the staff will know what to do, and they know that something will be done about it. And that's real change, and that's down to Chantel. So, thanks very much.
So it's my honour to introduce the BERA 2024 Academic Citizen of the Year. This is a relatively new award, and it reflects the very heart of the principles of BERA in terms of somebody who makes a contribution that actually exemplifies what being a good citizen in the context of educational research actually involves. Somebody whose academic work has great reach, but also who works collaboratively and in partnership with policymakers, with practitioners, and whose influence has extended very widely. It's somebody who I've known for a long time, and whose work I first encountered when I was working in Scotland, and who worked with teachers and policymakers on the curriculum reform in Scotland and later in Wales, but also through his empirical work and theoretical analysis, developed new ways of thinking about curriculum reform, and teacher agency. He also works at one of the most beautiful campuses in the whole of the UK, Stirling University. So if you've never been, I commend it to you. So it's my great honour and privilege to award Mark Priestley the Academic Citizen of the Year 2024.
Now, I'm a little flummoxed about receiving this award. I'm surrounded by wonderful academic citizens, and I don't think what I do is particularly special, but I do think that academic citizenship is really important. So I've been asked to say a few words about that. Obviously, I'm greatly honoured and delighted to get the award. It's great peer recognition. But I want to really just focus very briefly on three things which I think are really at the heart of what we do as researchers and academics, and that is really, I suppose, broken down into the idea that we have to work as a community because we're stronger working together. If we work in isolation, it's so difficult. And that particularly relates, I think, to the first aspect I want to just briefly discuss, which is support for colleagues and especially early career researchers, which I see as a fundamental part of my work. I was very lucky when I came to Stirling to benefit from the wisdom of people like Richard Edwards, and John Field and Gert Biester, who provided enormous support and mentorship for me. And I think that as a teacher coming into academia, it's really, really confusing. You go from a very social environment in a school staff room into what can be quite an isolating experience as an academic. And it was really good to have such colleagues around. So, you know, things like mentoring, peer review, opening up opportunities, introducing people to networks, co-authorship, and my experiences certainly were greatly benefited by having such great mentors in my early career, and I hope to pass some of those benefits back onto my early career researchers I'm now working with in our own team, and more widely as well. I think the second aspect I want to just talk about briefly is service to the wider community. I have been now for 6 years a journal editor for BERA, for the Curriculum Journal. We've worked with a wonderful team of co-editors. I've also before then been involved in a range of different programs and activities, including quite a bit of work as a member of council and chair of the Academic Publications Committee at BERA. And I've always thrived, I think, on working with others. I think that there is a lot that we can do as scholars to benefit that wider community in terms of institutional development, getting involved in your own institutions, in terms of editorial work, in terms of getting involved in learning societies like BERA, in terms of leading networks, particularly the SIGs and the networks in the large conference organisations like ESA and BERA. Reviewing, of course, is highly important. This is something that's very difficult at the moment, and just a plea as a journal editor that we need many more reviewers than we have at the moment. This is an ongoing challenge. And some of the things that are perhaps less talked about, being on interview panels, reviewing promotion cases, looking at bids for funding and so on. All these are highly valuable things that are part of academic citizenship, and if we don't do them, the system grinds to a halt. The third area I want to briefly mention is something that's actually much closer to my heart than the other two, although I've clearly been involved in all three areas, and that is public engagement. As a former secondary history teacher, really this is one of the most important things I do. It's reaching out and working with practitioners and with policymakers. I spent yesterday working with 60 senior and middle leaders from schools on a project to raise capacity to do curriculum making in Scottish schools. And it's always very rewarding. I would say that I learn more from the people who come to those courses, the practical wisdom they bring and the experience they bring, than I'm actually giving back. It's a very, very strong symbiotic relationship. And I think that it's really important that when we are working to do things like develop the curriculum, that we're able to combine the different types of expertise across the system. Because if we don't, we end up with impoverished products and curricula which are just not fit for purpose. So that's a really important part of it. I'll also mention policy engagement. This is a bit more like wading through treacle at times, but it's highly important work. Sometimes it feels like we're going 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But ultimately, I think the more as researchers we persevere in policy engagement, working with policymakers, the better policy will be ultimately, and we do get results. It takes time, it takes effort. So a plea, if you are thinking about this, do get involved. And on a more instrumental level, working with policymakers and practitioners is also pretty good for impact with the REF in mind, because you can develop good impact case studies. So just to finish off here, I just repeat here, ultimately we are stronger working together. Academic citizenship depends upon collaboration. My work depends upon the wonderful academic citizens I work with. And I would like to just finish by acknowledging some of the wonderful people I have worked with. The European and International Network, which includes the Curriculum Journal editorial team and a signal group called Curriculum on Tour, which we talk on endlessly. This has been a really good source of inspiration for all of our work over the years, and this is how we're able to do things like run networks at the ESA conference and so on. So particular mention to Stavroula Philippou, who's been my co-editor at the Curriculum Journal. I'd also like to acknowledge colleagues closer to home, my wife Andrea, who's sitting over there, and my wonderful colleagues Valerie Drew and Lizzie Rushton, because they do academic citizenship by the bucketful, and I always feel humbled working with these people. So thank you very much.
So one of the privileges of being BERA president is that you have the opportunity to participate in and to confer the John Nisbet Award, which is an award which is a long-standing BERA award, and it's for sustained excellence in educational research. I was in Scotland at the joint BERA-CERA 50th anniversary seminar in May, which was mentioned earlier, and we owe so much as an educational research community to the Nisbet brothers and the founding of CERA and BERA. And so this is a very special award, and I was delighted to be able to confer this award onto Professor Lani Florian, whose research is not in an area which is my area of research, but such is her reach and influence that I was very familiar with her name and her work and the things that she's done. But I'm going to invite Professor Mari Beaton to actually introduce Lani. They've known each other for much longer than I've known about Lani, and they together, I think, are going to have a conversation which they would often have in a much more informal setting, but they will have this conversation sitting on chairs on a stage, so good luck.